Why, hello there. I don't know if you've heard, but Looxi already launched a new collection. They just dropped it out of the blue and disappeared into the boat until next launch, as they always do. These cost $250 each or $21 for the 7, so I find that a very reasonable price. These don't have a theme or name, but hey, they're quite cheap, so I grabbed them all and I'm here to swatch them for those of you who may be interested. So let's just get started. This is Hunky Dory, described as a muted gray-green with tips of purple, blue, and gold. This is a very smooth shimmer. It doesn't have that many sparkles, but it does shift. On the hand you can see how smooth this is. It spreads out very evenly. It has a very sheer peachy base. The shifts are going to be mainly a very muted green going to an aqua and going to a very slight blue on the harsh angle. And you can see it does shift, but it's quite subtle in comparison to other shades from Looxi. It's also not that sparkly, so it's not going to be the standout from this collection, at least for me. Next up, this is Splash, described as a metallic green blue with shifts of smoky purple gray. And I don't know why they didn't mention a little gold in there, because that's all I see, like a muted gold. On the finger you can tell this is quite sparkly in comparison to the past one, and on the hand swatch is where it shines. I would describe this as a grey purple base with shifts of muted gold going to silver. I like when Looxi does these kinds of shades that you don't find anywhere else because they're so weird. You wouldn't think this would look good, but it does. Now this is Fruit Punch, described as a hot pink with shifts of fuchsia and golden orange. The texture on this one is again very smooth and without sparkle. Now on the hand swatch I can tell their description is pretty accurate. It has a hot pink base with a fuchsia shift that goes gold. I'm not the biggest fan of this formula because it's not a shimmer, it's not a metallic, it's not a satin. It's like a shifty shimmer with very tiny particles. It's a very smooth shade, that's for sure. But it's not my favorite formula. Love the color though, love it a lot. Next up, this is Big Bang, described as a gold bronze with shifts of pink and orange, with touches of turquoise. I can tell on the pen this is quite sparkly. On the finger that bronzy base is very evident, and this is kind of a chunky shade. On the hand swatch you can see this is again one of those sparkly shades. The base is a bit more notable than the others, and you can see that clear shift from turquoise to pink. I'm really liking the way that warm base is contrasting with the blue shimmer. It's such a beautiful shift. And again, it's not something that I see very often from other brands. Next, it's gonna be Jaded, described as a jade green with shifts of yellow and shifts of green. So yeah, lots of green in this one. On the finger you can see it's looking kinda chunky, and it's because of that waxy quality that Looxi has sometimes. Now, swatching it out, I can see the base in this one is much deeper than the others, so it's going to create a better contrast with the light sparkles. The shift is going to be light yellow to lime green to a bit of an aqua at the harsh angle. Here's Feels, described as a metallic lilac purple with shifts of silver, pink, and dark purple. So yeah, it's one of those popular shifty purples. On the finger, it's that same waxy formula that's very sparkly. And on the hand swatch, I can see that shift is quite warm. The base is a sheer lilac shade, and the harsh angle is the one that captures the cool silver, I would say. This reminds me of a warm version of Painted Lady, so I'm going to compare them later on. And lastly, this is Nightfall. It's described as a dark metallic blue with shifts of purple and silver/gray. This one sparkles a lot. Again, the texture is pretty similar to the other one, except this one is a bit more oily. On the hand swatch, you can see this one is a lot more dimensional than the others because of that dark base, but also the dark base kind of skips, so it's not going to be as smooth as the others, but it's still quite a beautiful shade. As promised, here's Feels at the top and Painted Lady at the bottom. As you can see here, Painted Lady has a color shift and base, while Feels is a bit more sheer and warm. So yeah, they're different, but they have similar vibes. Here's Nightfall at the top and Winter Moon from Looxi at the bottom. I picked Winter Moon when it was being discontinued and I freaking loved it, so I'm glad to see they're kind of bringing it back with this one. But yeah, if you have it, you don't need Nightfall because they're so similar in my opinion. Next, here's Hanky Dory at the top, Bougie in the middle, and Angel Wings at the bottom. This just came to mind when I saw this one in the pen, but I can see it's a bit different. It's more cool leaning. Also, Angel Wings has a larger particle size, but you can see the difference in the bases, how this one's cooler. So I'd say these are similar vibes, but not exact dupes. Up next, it's gonna be Jaded at the top, Moneybags in the middle, and Apollo at the bottom. All of the bases are very different, but the shift is kind of similar if you look at it. It's like Apollo with different bases. They're the same particle size, they're the same shift, the only difference is the bases. But if you love any of these colors enough, maybe it's worth getting it. And last, here's Big Bang at the top and Cookies and Cream at the bottom. Again, don't call me crazy, I know they have different bases, but the shift is very similar, so if you have Cookies and Cream, then try it with a bronzy base and you're probably going to get something very similar to this. But if you do want this specific color, it's a very pretty one. And finally, I'm going to swatch them as I rank them. Fruit Punch is at the bottom just because it doesn't sparkle at all, but it's a very pretty color. Next is gonna be Hunky Dory for the same reason. It's a very smooth formula that I know a lot of people like. I just prefer my shades from Looxi to sparkle a bit more. But I do like the color in this one. I'm putting Jaded here just because this color doesn't really call to me, even though I like it, it's not something special. The next shades are going to be sparkly, so this is just based on color. Next I'm going to place Nightfall here just because it's such a unique blue. It's like deep but not boring. It's beautiful. But I have a very close dupe, so I'm putting it here just because of it. If you're into blues, highly recommend. Next I'm going to place Feels here because I think they nailed it with this one. It's not one of the better purples in my collection, but it's a good purple from Looxi. I'm going to put Big Bang here because even though I know it's quite dupeable, I do love the way this looks. Like, who would have thought that pink and blue would look great with a bronzy base? And that means Splash is going to be at the top, because I like the formula and I think this color is quite unique to my collection. And I'm already changing my mind about these two shadows. I think Hunky Dory is so much muted and boring in comparison to all of these shades, so I'm putting it last. But those are just my preferences and we all have different preferences. So I hope these swatches were helpful for those of you who are interested in this. I'm probably going to keep changing the ranking if I keep thinking about it, so I'm just going to end the video here. Thank you for watching and have a great day.